Good day to you, gentle he-stashes and she-stashes of the internet. I've decided, as you can tell, to begin a somewhat different segment from my usual at Kindred Soul Gaming, to break away from just playing games and into speaking about gaming as a whole and exactly how it affects myself, and most likely many of you as well. I would also like to say that everything I say in these vlogs are my own opinions, not researched facts, or shots at any groups or anything like that. This is just me talking about what I think and believe, and voicing ideas that I would like to share. Now, that aside, my topic, as you can guess from the title, is about the nostalgia of the first games each of us played, be it Game Boy, PC, console, or other, and how it relates to our reactions about current games and the market as a whole. So to begin, I'd like to share with my first experience with gaming. 'Twas the mid-90s, about there, and my grandparents, with whom I was raised, bought myself and my brother our very first game system, the well-proclaimed Nintendo 64, and with it several titles including Yoshi's Island, Super Mario 64, Kirby the Crystal Shards, and my personal favorite of the bunch, Banjo-Tooie, the sequel to the original Banjo-Kazooie, which I never had the good fortune to play. All fantastic, great titles, well-proclaimed, 10 out of 10s, but that's not really the point here. Now, we would spend hours on that system, and I mean days upon days just playing without regard to anything else. Well, besides having to actually attend school and the normal daily chores of any childhood. These were some of the best times in my life and represent a time when everything was good in the world and nothing could go wrong. I look back on those days fondly. Now, in direct conflict over the past few years, I've noticed a growing trend in the mannerisms of myself and my fellows in the gaming industry. That being complaints about the state that game development is in and the current direction of gaming as a whole. I quite often hear remarks about how the originals are always better and games sure aren't as good as they used to be. And perhaps that's true. Perhaps developers need to get off their asses and begin thinking about and feeling exactly what it is they're making, as the developers of old, who made very little effort for what they did, doing it more for the love of telling their story or sharing an adventure. Those are perfectly valid points, and I respect those opinions greatly. I myself find it extremely plausible that the vast increase in the wages of developers in the gaming industry has created a sort of buffer between good games and the minds of the developers that make them. The massive profit margins of gaming companies has led to certain consumerism in gaming that just didn't used to exist. Large companies buy out the small ones and create more singular styles of play where there used to be dozens, even hundreds of unique and interesting genres. And some game series that once had very set styles and gameplay features have evolved to create a larger consumer base, prioritizing profit over unique experience. Games like the Resident Evil series, going from that gritty survival horror that came out on Nintendo 64 way back when, where death was always just around every corner and you were a small fish thrown into a very dark and dangerous pond. All of these are ideas that really fit the problem at hand, why we consider old games more entertaining than new ones. But as much as I subscribe to these ideas and hold them with a certain regard, they are not the full range of my beliefs on the topic. I've worked in the gaming industry with some large companies before, and some indie developers, both sides of which have fantastic ideas about what directions they want to go now that hardware limitations are an issue of the past. The thing I see most in common is that individualism and creative genius are alive and well in the video game industry, I assure you. It is there. Fresh ideas are omnipresent, not always in the eye of the mainstream, but if you dig, you will find. No, the real problem lies with the very way we think as people. We naturally have a way of sensationalizing our experiences when we look back on them because we don't remember things 100% as they were. Very few people do that. I mean, there's like 5 people in all of North America who have the ability to perfectly remember things. So don't feel bad about it, it's just being human. So I believe our minds will tend to fill in these sparse missing sections with hazy generic happiness. There's also the fact that, as children, we really didn't look as closely at games as we do as functioning adults. When you were 9, did you really ever stop to think, wow, these graphics are amazing, or if this part of the gameplay was changed in X way, this game would function perfectly. The answer being most likely no. I know that I didn't, for sure. In summary, while game developers and large companies may be singularizing games and focusing on the more commercial aspect of games, the fault does not lie solely with them for the nostalgia we feel about old games. The fault also lies within ourselves and the nature of being a child in a time when such games are available. That'll do it for me, guys. My rant is over. Thanks for listening, and a wholehearted bro stash salute to you all. Like and subscribe to see more videos like this, and we will see you in the next vlog. Bye-bye!